All right. Ooh. All right, there we go. Got that fixed. Hopefully that didn't cause horrible reverb. But once again, StreamYard, what we're using, and they have a lot of features. They apply AI to try to block out. They usually do a pretty good job of catching the echoes and the reverb and whatnot. But my bad. All right, so what is up on the screen? We have Dhodap Fort, and this is in India. This is in the Maharashtra range of forts, and this is the second highest fort in the range. And just the scale of it is absolutely insane, and that it is documented fort to this day. And as we go through, you're going to see all sorts of different layers of civilization. There's castles built in, there's megalithic, there's caves, like ancient quarried caves throughout, as well as monasteries, cathedrals. It's absolutely wild. And then simultaneously, it's insane how parallel it is to the Grand Canyon, as well as all the features like Shiprock and oh golly gosh, just Utah in general. But right now, we're looking at Dhopa. Oops. Here we go. No, that's the wrong button. There we go. There we go. All right. So Dhopa Hill. This is Dhopa Hill is next to Dhopa Fort, and that it's just like the macro complex that is the temple sites, the pyramid complex of the Grand Canyon in the U.S. Midwest. The Maharashtra formation, I guess, or series of forts and fortifications. It's just absolutely insane, and that you're actually going to see all these different layers of past civilizations built into it. What else do we got here? So, starting with that, then this, I believe this is like the side, one ridge side leading up to Dhodap Fort. And as you can see, people standing on castle areas. You have castle walls all throughout, built all the way in. You have giant megalithic ruins throughout the area, like walls everywhere, and castle. It's a fort through and through. This is another ridge side leading up to the Dhodap Fort. And as you can see, the size of the people here going up, and just these giant, ridiculously huge macro terraces, essentially pyramidal terraces in the fort structures going in. And then when you get to the top, well, it's terraformed as well, with several layers of stonework, both carved into the bedrock, where you have the permanent water quarry lake things throughout collecting, as well as walls of fortification, passage, and tunnels underneath. This is astounding. And after I did my stream yesterday on the Writing on Stone UNESCO site in Alberta, and just I guess the AI algorithms in YouTube, it suggested me this Hindi, I guess like East Indian channel. It was like 200,000 subscribers. This guy's quite a big channel, but it wouldn't even translate the captions into English. It would only give you Hindi captions. Quite strange. But it was the first time as a Westerner I had ever seen any of these crazy forts, mountain forts, and entire range, and just the castles and the absolutely nuts similarities it is with what we've been documenting in the Americas and throughout the world, everywhere really. And well, what perfect evidence to compile it all together. And this is the far ridge of the Dhodap fort, and you can see right in the middle there's this gap that goes through, and then the castle up on top, and then like what is underneath it. There's you'll see that there's all sorts of pictures coming up of megalithic cave systems and tunneling throughout this interior area. Shout out to Tigers New Zealand. My husband was Hindu. I'm not. I'm an English lady. Well, I commend your experience and your life in combining the cultures, and so you can understand some of the language. That is amazing. Well, you're going to have to come on sometime, and we're going to have to go over it, because I find it absolutely fascinating, and all of the different ancient languages, especially the different pictographic languages, symbol languages, the origins and the proto-languages, and connecting them to the time of pre-cataclysm, the time of the Tower of Babel, pre-Tower of Babel, when there was the one world language before, and we're reaching that point again. And I believe it's at the tops of these points that in the Eastern world, in India, in China, throughout Asia, even Russia and Africa, it's like they worship and respect these sites, and that their temples, they still maintain active temples throughout these sites to this day, right? Like it's not being destroyed. It's not being, maybe a little bit covered up, but like it's not being decimated or desecrated, that's for sure. And just this entire range, how much the similarities to what I'm going to show you at the second half of this stream and presentation of the Grand Canyon temples and pyramid complex. It was wow weewa when I came across this today for the first time, and I spent the next 3 hours this morning going through and downloading at least 100 different pictures of probably 100 of Dhodap Fort itself, but as well as probably another 50 or 100 of the rest of the range of forts in the Maharashtra castle and fort range in India. And then I just spent another 2-3 hours why I had to keep delaying the start of this episode, was then also collecting and saving and getting together for us for the second half all of the actual temple sites like Osiris, like Isis, like the Temple of Solomon, like the Temple of Buddha, like, gosh, you're gonna see, and it's something else. And what do you all think of what you see right now? I think it's freaking wild. All right, so this is on one of the many terraced layers or steps, or yeah, just areas building up in the actual Dhodap fort. And you can see that these are foundations of what are megalithic structures, acknowledged ancient megalithic structures and forts built throughout this fort castle, ancient, massive, macro megalithic site, and that is still worshipped and claimed to be built by the demigods of the previous times, and that they still exist or are buried within these places. And they're essentially, who knows, quite possibly true, I suspect. So this is on the plateau, and it's looking up at Dhodap Fort. And this is another artificial lake that we are looking at. And as we zoom up to the top of Dhodap Fort, and then also this gap, just remember that gap, that little tiny gap right there, because oh my. Hey, Julia, I sent you the link. William, I also believe I sent you the link, and Elkman has the link and is going to be joining us shortly, as well as we will open it up for a bit of a discussion as we go through it. And Horus Temple is another one in the Grand Canyon Temple Complex. Just these, the macro scale. Remember the macro scale, because when it's not a super pixelated far away, it's all scale, right? Because how far are you? Because this is actually just at the plateau base, like the final climb up to the peak of these forts, castle forts. All right, these megalithic castle mountain forts that literally you're going to see. Oh gosh, just remember this gap right here. Just remember that gap, and look at this continued pyramidal mountain pyramid structured fort all the way. And so here we got another one a little closer, or maybe further away. I believe the lake that we just saw was over here, this being maybe another pyramidal mound, but then a little bit more, the gap right there, and the peak of the fort completely covered by cloud. Look at that, just a halo of plasma H2O vapor. So here we go, just a little bit further, or a little bit closer to the base, and again we have a castle turret. What is this, brick semicircle, half sticking out of the beginning of the ascent of climbing the base of the Dhodap fort. So it's just, and like, look at the architecture here, just the different culture. Oh man. All right, so this, I believe, is Dhodap Fort. I could be wrong. This picture could either be taken from Dhodap, or that is Dhodap. This could be taken from Dhodap Hill. Like, look at this, just wild. Like, that is a pyramid mountain. This is a pyramid mountain with an epic waterfall coming off. And it's the luscious, greenest paradise during the monsoon season. These pictures are during the monsoon. That almost looks like a reptilian freaking giant figure. Who knows? But look at the terraces going down. All right, so this is on near the peak. That is the peak, I believe. This is the back side. The back side or the front side of the peak of Dhodap Fort now. And well, look at just how it is built. Like, so these are entrances, like these are caves, like it's actually a system. Like this is a physical what you would call mountain there's inner tunnels networks that is essentially a freaking mountain apartment complex at the very peak of the mount. Like, oh my god, like this is actually artificial, constructed and acknowledged, and that there's people in here currently. From I believe the top looking down, somewhere on the Maharashtra plateau looking. I believe this is Dhodap Fort here. These are a couple other ones. So this is also on Dhodap Fort. This is on Dhodap Fort, closer to the top. And look, from the very top ridge, you have a waterfall spring coming down. How does that even make sense? And at the very first, like, little valley plateau base from the ridge peak, you have carved in megalithic opening structures, building and tunnel network opened and going in. Like, look at this megalithic work. This reminds me of Peru and Bolivia and elsewhere, but no, this is India. But you know, it could easily be China. And no, this is the southwestern side of India. And just wild. Oh, no, sorry, that one. That was Peru. All right, so here is another side of Dhodap Fort, and you can see this is like the top ridge mountain of it, and into it, oh wow, it's megalithic carved and just rooms. Like it is a freaking fort. It is a mountain fortress. This is literally a mountain fortress. You ever dream of having the ultimate mountain freaking complex fortress? That is what this is. Recognized, thousands of years old, built by the demigods. Just absolutely astonishing. And now you have the dry season. And this is taken from the top of Dhodap Fort down into the ridge and valley, and you can just see how desert it is in the fall. And then here it is. This picture also taken from the top of Dhodap Fort during the fall, but full of water. And these water canal aquifer lake storage units that are these megalithic structures. And look at the similarities of Peru and this, what is known as like a Tesla, some sort of Tesla invention, I believe, but it could also be an ancient one. But all of these 90-degree angles at the perfect equilateral gradient of the water here keeps it at a steady, like, circulating, and it's nuts. Yeah, Brian, shout out to Brian Forrester and all of his work in Peru, highlighting it there. But it is just as present throughout all of these Maharashtra castles of the demigods. And the people of this land all worship these sites as actual built fortresses and like original homes of their like legends of like their gods and demigods. Like, it's just, it's wild. And good question. To be honest, I am not sure. Speaking of not sure, shout out to not sure. Why do I have a wild random 1866 number trying to call me during my stream? Weird. No, thank you. Earlier, I had some random number from Alaska try calling me. I was like, what? Okay, maybe. Hopefully, it might be a whistleblower. Maybe Eric Hecker, I'm thinking. Hopefully, you never know. But no, I pick it up and it's like, oh, hello. We offer high-end stock auctions, and yes, would you? And I'm just like, why did I answer that? Anyways, enough of the first world problems and the third world problems merging. This exact opposite goal of the stream, we are connecting our histories and trying to figure out what actually transpired on this earth, and that we actually need to listen to each other's fables, legends, creation stories, and what the elders and indigenous tell of these sites, because it seems it's actually probably most likely true. And I believe it has to do with the 5 eras or 5 cycles of humanity or of the sun, just like the Hopi creation stories, and well, it's like a shamanistic creation story that's basically told everywhere in the world, and that are we now actually, as we hit 2012 as like the Mayan Bach tune ends, like actually accurate. They're like, oh, we're actually now in Pisces, like, oh, it's changed. And then it's like, oh, actually all of the official scientific data is showing we're being the sun's way more active, it's changed, everyone's saying it's white, it is actually more white, and that it seems to be a pulsar now, not yellow, that it was before. And it's because we've reached the galactic plane, the level, as you move through in the spiral helix rotation around the center of whatever the universe is, of the toroid, Eden, whatever. Not getting into that. Whole point. Back to what we're looking at. Was this built by essentially gods? Did like just some creation force, like plasma conscious god creation, come down and just like raise up these pyramids and stuff, and like be like, yo, I'm gonna make some titans, put the titans down. He's like, so here's some titan turtles, here's some titan elephants, here's some titan humans. And then like it went to heck and something happened then. But during their time, they like made homes out of these things. And then you had like some giants afterwards, right? And stuff. So it's like times of like Lemuria, Atlantis, Younger Dryas, the Sumerian Kings list, whatever Younger Dryas event, it all adds up. Megafauna used to exist during these times too. So what we're looking at here, though, each of these waters, lakes that you see, were actually at the very top ridges of all of these mountain fortresses, and that those are the top mid plateaus, the close, and those are lakes, artificial lakes that have been carved in thousands of years ago or whenever these were created, and still to this day sustain, collect, and maintain fresh drinking water at the tops of the bases of the forts in the peak drought season, as you can see here. Full blue water in the artificial lake at the top. There's like the pyramid, and the yellow dry desert end of dry season. So there you go. Just, it's wild. And look at that. That is completely carved and like megalithic stone. What is that? Probably marble, limestone, something. Anyways, blocks all around it. Like and this is cut into, carved out of the bedrock of the top plateau ridge of the mountains. Like, just wild. And here we go, all the way up. So this is not like a accidentally flooded foundation. No, this is intentionally carved out of the mountain bedrock bases, aquifer, pools and lakes that still function fully to this day. And once again, point out, not green, overgrown, lush monsoon, just rains filled them up, going on. Instead, it's all gold yellow. It's fall, it's dead, it's at the end of the drought, and they're waiting for the monsoons to come once again. Yet still, the water level maintains. Like, it's gone down a couple of feet, maybe 2-3 feet, at least from the peak when it was running before. And so here's another thing. And look right here, you can see this is where, when it rains, this is actually intentionally carved out, that when it rains, the systems, it will trickle down here. You have your waterfall, it flows into here. You have your waterfall, it flows out. Like, it's all intentional irrigation. And it's wild. It's just not being maintained today. And that here we have, during the monsoon season, when it's raining and replenishing, this is also in the Dhodap Fort plateau area. Like, this is just behind that one lake between Dhodap Hill and Dhodap Fort, and just massive ruins of actual former buildings, as well as still standing multiple story, like with basement, like palace or fortress. Like, look at this, like castle. Like, what is, like, apartment, several story, full castle, overgrown, abandoned, could easily be renovated and inhabited to this day. And look at, like, just full buildings built out of both the bedrock as well as megalithic polygonal building. Like, just absolutely insane, the scope of just Dhodap Fort alone. It is so wild. And this is literally everywhere. But this is what is being covered up, blown up, and not acknowledged in the West. Meanwhile, it's being worshipped, preserved, and respected in the East. And these are the Gardens of Eden that we need to re-inhabit and rebuild and bring back abundance. Because if these were properly utilized and built upon and inhabited today and farmed, that would not be all dead grass. Like, there's water running throughout. We would have lush terraces of agriculture going throughout, and there's already the built stone foundations, and you're in mountain fortresses of paradise that all you need to bring is like 3D printed, recycled plastic bricks or crystal bricks, or even just poles and tarps to begin with. If you want to camp it to start, why not? Be seasonal, be a migrating, go for the winter or the summer, go for the monsoon, or go through the drought, either or. All right, so here we have, I believe this is Hindi. Is that correct, Taiga, New Zealand? Is that what we are looking at? All right, with some English. So here we have Fort Neldurg. Here we have Fort Ramak. Here we have Fort Sather. All right, so look at all of these mountain forts, all recognized ancient forts. And as I'm going to continue, excellent. Thank you. This is Hindi. Perfect. Oh, all right, Alchemist. Sorry, brother. Didn't know how long you've been there. My apologies if you've been there a minute.
What's up, just joined.
Sure.
Thanks for having me, man.
Oh, thanks for being here. And like, this is absolutely amazing. And I bet you if John Levi ever sees this, it might just give him a little bit of a hard on. I don't know. But if you want evidence of a whole bunch of melted mountain freaking apartment castle fortresses, well, we've literally got, I think, 9 here, but there's actually like 50 or 100 in the Maharashtra formation in India. It's just nuts. And it's mind-blowing. Like, the size of each one of them, the literal mountain forts, from like base to top, everything is just megalithic block to the extreme, mixed in with like fortifications of castle walls, as well as carved megalithic tunnels throughout. Oh god, it's just like, look at this. Here we go. Prime example. This is still Dhodap Fort. During the dry season, this is close to the top, and that is a castle. Look at this happy guy up top. Look at that. Look at this. You could easily be mistaken for Peru or freaking Scotland or anywhere, right? But no, this is the top of the Indian fortress of Dhodap. And wild. Here we go. This also blew my mind. This could just as easily be Yemen. Shout out to Yemen and its wildness, but this is one fortress mountain over from Dhodap, and it's actually looking towards Dhodap. This is Dhodap Fortress right here. And look at how Starforty Dhodap Fortress is. And those are actual cave entrances and tunnel systems throughout that you're seeing here. Blows my mind. Here we go, another angle of it. Like, this is carved out caves. Here we got other carved out caves, people going through. Carved out caves. It's everywhere. Here you have this is a human figure, I believe human figure, warrior, for your face, chest, waist belt, legs, feet. It's pretty wild. And your pyramid structures, and it's all carved out throughout. Again, a carved out human figure at the top, and again over here, another carved out human figure at the top. And I do have pictures of closer up, higher resolution of each of the figures. Like, this is not random pareidolia. It's actually documented that those are the sacred temple aspects of this fort site, and that each of these fort site mountains have these crazy ancient Hindi and Buddhist and don't kill me if I'm giving the wrong cultural appropriation to it, but documented and worshipped building. And it's wild to the scope. Again, one of the carved water lake aquifers. And then here, this is during the monsoon season, one of the sides of Dhodap Fort, as well as this is also on Dhodap Fort. So built, carved out of the top of the bedrock of Dhodap Fort, you have one of these other sacred palace sites, and you can also see that there's entrance. It's carved in entrances into the top of the actual fortress, into the system. What's this crazy step pyramid? Clearly right here. Another entrance in, another entrance over here in the building, and whatever one of these are, still with the gold Antiquitech up top. Again, boing, that probably electrified John Levi, because here you have megalithic blocks as well, and several different eras of cultural misappropriation. We are dealing with bias and cultural misappropriation. Like, you're giving the pyramid builders and the megalith builders and the geopolymer builders all the wrong credentials or activities. Anyways, enough of that. Here is a viewing platform from the base of Dhodap Fort again, and it is the second highest fort in the overall Maharashtra castle and forts system. And as you look up top, again, you got the one figure here carved, you got the other figure here carved, and here we have this gap. And it's like, we have these same formations throughout, especially the Grand Canyon, as well as such places as Shiprock. And shout out to David Stig, because he documents a lot of the Google Earth anomalies of this sort of stuff in North America and Africa. And here it is in India. Another carved water source. And now we're at the peak, or the base of the peak of Dhodap Mountain Fortress. And you can start to see the scale of this actual gap, and that there's two carved warrior and princess figures also in this massive mountain fortress gap. It's just, it's so insane, the scale. Here you have an anthropomorphic carving, and this is, of course, during the monsoon, so the vegetation covering up lots of details, but clearly the face, head, eyes, body, arms, legs, etc. And then this is the back. You can see the arms, legs of the other posing one. And then you have as well a monastery here, an ancient monastery, but still to this day operational at the base. And then you can start to see some of the ancient carving tunnels into the actual mountain system, and then you have a whole bunch of them up here and up here, and there's staircases throughout. This is, I believe, within a couple hundred kilometers. This is actually in Dhodap Fortress somewhere. This is actually in Dhodap Fortress, and if you want to call something Tartarian, that's looking pretty Dhodapid Tartarian, if you ask me. Covered with Antiquitech. Dhodap Fort Antiquitech. What would this actually be labeled as? What would this be misgendered as, or misarchitected as? Gothic style or something like that. And then this is also on Dhodap Fortress, carved, I believe, out of the bedrock. So this is on Dhodap Fortress, also Dhodap. Also on Dhodap, we got minarets. I believe there's there's castle and stuff. Oh yeah, look at this. There's base of a castle ruins here. The minaret here, more castle stuff. This is also on Dhodap Fortress. Look at this, just blown out former massive buildings. Still fortified walls, still fortified walls, still fortified walls, all built throughout Dhodap Fortress. Another pyramid right here. Also fortress, castle built out of Dhodap. More entrances in, more entrances into the bedrock, and just massive megalithic, more entrance and structures, more structures. This is just wild. Each one of these mountain fortresses are straight buildings that show several stages of different society. Oh man, it's wild.
Yeah, on Google Earth, it looks pretty bombed out, that area too.
Right, and something had to blow the heck out of this at some point to destroy it. It's crazy. Why?
What do you know about this place, BurnEye? Is it where the events of Mahabharata took place or anything like that?
I suspect that is most likely the case, but I have not yet had the opportunity or time to do any actual research or investigation into it, but I suspect probably the case. And it's blowing my mind, man. These are literal castle mountain buildings. It's crazy. All right. Why does my... All right. We're just going to close that one there for now. Word. Julia is also going to be joining us soon, I believe. But actually,
are we hopping into the Grand Canyon for a little bit?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
We are straight trannying over to the Grand Canyon, my friend.
Okay, get what I got.
Tranny over, but before we tranny over, let's just do a little comparison. That on the left being Hindi writing and talking, labeling that this is Dhodap Fortress, and you can see right above Alchemist's head, literally several layers of giant castle walls, all on that one corner, and that is looking like a macro Starfort mountain castle, which it literally is and stated is. And then
Yeah, so Dhodap is this Dhodap still?
yes, it is.
So this is just the Wikipedia, but Dhodap is one of the hill forts in the Maharashtra state in India, situated in Chandwad Taluka in the Nashik district. Fort is 4,829 feet above sea level. It is the site of the second highest fort in the Sahyadri Mountains after Salahar. Dhodap Hill is the second highest hill peak in Maharashtra after Kalsabai, and Salahar is the 29th highest peak in Western Ghats.
Right?
Sorry, I've lost you on my end here. Alexa took over and changed everything that's going on for me. Sorry about that.
No worries. No, it's wild. They're like, so as we tranny over to the Grand Canyon. Oh, come on. Oh, did it close? Don't tell me it closed. Man. No biggie. We're back to tranny. Trannying over to the Grand Canyon temple complexes. And it's not, there we go. Above Elkman, we have Isis Temple in the Grand Canyon. And to the left above my head, we have Dhodap, Fort of the Maharashtra mountain system. All right, so let's tranny away from that.
That was a clever way to get those both on the same level like that, Burn.
All right, so one last time here. I believe Dhodap Fort. Yeah, Dhodap Fort is on the far left side of the picture there, and you can identify it by that tiny little gap in the ridge there before the castle. So then these are several other of some of the castle forts in this whole system. So each one of these mountains is a literal mountain city. It's just to like wrap your head around that these exist. It's wild, and it's like there's people in them, and it's recognized there. And then now we got this. And what sucks is that I had way more on Dhodap that like actually like gave the mapping and the scales and like probably another 20 pictures of the different forts. But for some reason, my computer did not save them as JPEGs like it said it was, and the files were corrupted. Anyways, here we got one side of Isis Temple in the Grand Canyon. And there's legends of Kincaid and the recovered both Egyptian and Orient carved out mummies and relics. And this right here might be the work that they covered up, but I'm not sure. Oh, here we go. So that is the covering that was put in, I believe, in the 50s or 60s after there was a plane crash there that they had to shut things down. And in this series, I will be showing. I hope it's soon, but I don't think it's the next one. The pre-crash entrance and cave system on the front of ISIS, the chamber that was there, and then suddenly after a plane accident and the FBI going in, magically there was a wall and no longer this massive entrance. That just strange. But right here, this could easily be Dhodap, or any of the fortresses of the Maharashtra. But this is, in fact, in the Grand Canyon, and I believe it's Mahoe or Navajo or Hopi, one or another. But again, I see faces. Like, is that a monkey god here? Is that a monkey face potentially? And it's at these times, like the equinox. Shout out everyone, recent spring equinox, but that the sun and the moon cast the shadows at the rising, setting, and noon time positions that actually add the 3D depth and detail and life to these ancient carvings and intentional portrayals of both animal and human. Here, I believe, is the Vishnu. Maybe the Buddha temple, but I believe this is what is called the Vishnu temple in the Grand Canyon temple complex. And for those that are just like hearing of this for the first time, or becoming aware of the fact that, yes, in the Grand Canyon, there is the such places as Vishnu temple and Buddha temple, and that is what they look like. And they look, I'd say, pretty much like what we were just looking at on the other side of the world, no?
I'm trying to pull up that sweet map with them all on it.
Oh, absolutely. Yes, please. So yeah, right here we have Shiva temple, Isis temple, and Cheops pyramid. And again, the Isis temple with this wall that covered up the old main entrance to Isis temple. And when the pre-50s or pre-60s photo appears and you see it for the first time, it's something else, let me tell you. Well, you'll see for yourself. Again, why is Cheops pyramid, Isis temple, and Shiva temple all in the middle of the U.S.? And here we have like comparison. Pretty interesting. Right? This is what it's found as.
Sweet.
Right? Like, this is Brahma temple and Zoroaster temple. Zoroaster temple and Brahma temple of, wow, look at that. Like, it just looks like all potential megalithic block. No? Wild.
Just
Grand Canyon. Brahma and Zoroaster on Sunset.
I got that big map with them all on it, Bernie.
Oh, sorry.
No worries.
There we go.
So yeah, you got Point Sublime, Confucius Temple, Temple of Ra, Hindu Amphitheater, Temple of Osiris, Temple of Set, Hermit Road, Yuma Point, Cocoa Pop Point, Shiva Temple, Dragon Head, Temple of Osiris, Isis Temple, Tyro Point, Buddha Temple, Shape Up's Pyramid, Wilford's Point, Hillers, Butte, Sumner Butte, Zoroaster Temple, Brahma Temple, Hawkins, Angel's Gate, Thor's Temple, Obi Point,
Thor's Temple, right? There's also Solomon's Temple. I got a picture of Solomon's Temple for the first time.
Yeah, it's right here on this.
Right? Right there. We got Solomon's Temple. They've been trying to trick us and tell us it's in the Middle East. Meanwhile, it's in the Midwest of America, nowhere near the Middle East, West Asia. My gosh. Solomon's Temple, Chia, like, it's amazing. Amazing what you learn.
Yeah, try and see if I can pop it in here. Maybe I can't. 1 second.
Right, like, just gonna tranny back a moment to the Dhodap fort, and right there, that's just one little portion of Dhodap Fort Mountain. And when you see the close-ups, there's literally, it's all castle and caves and documented megalithic belts that they claim was built by the gods. Sorry, back to what you were showing, good sir.
Oh, so this is the ancient Chinese account of the Grand Canyon or course of the Colorado. I've basically read this whole book online probably a couple times, so I won't do it again or bore anybody, but
No. Please do a little bit.
150 pages.
Just give us a little teaser. Give us a highlight. But oh wow, we got North America right there, clearly.
Yeah, so these are all from texts that were saying that basically the same area that we were just checking out was discovered by the Chinese a long time ago. You interesting, like this whole thing's really interesting. It's only like 30 or so pages really, so I think everyone should read it. But like even the words Tahoe, so Ta means great and Ho means a deep gully or valley. So we still have names like Lake Tahoe there, which are apparently Chinese according to this document. They talk about 5 suns. They talk about music, like people hearing music in there.
Really? Sounds very parallel to a lot of the ancient Egyptian stories.
Yeah, and it does kind of match up with, like, there's a lot of stuff that does cross over with, I can't remember his name, the other guy's account who does all the Grand Canyon stuff, who talks about the all the hidden rooms and caverns and all that. But I'm just like blowing through this document because I don't want to catch myself into getting stuck reading it again. But it's very interesting. I'll link it all up right now.
Oops, sorry, wrong one, my bad. There we go. Yes, and please give us the link to maybe in the private chat, and I can put it in the public chat or the live chat. As we need more people seeing these documents and sharing these documents and investigating them and making light and educating.
Yeah, a few people have talked about this one. I think lots of people have by now, but everyone kind of forgets it and comes back to it.
What always kind of like just disturbs me is when I see those ancient, and then also anytime you've ever seen them, like as a Canadian, several times, like in the dead of winter, especially, but then also sometimes in weird weather and sometimes in questionable conspiracy chemtrail days, that the circles within circles, like it's part of a grid, and that Eric Hecker has described seeing in Antarctica, where it was actually 3 circles, full circles, circles, so symmetrical circles going out of the sun halos from the sun, forming the
Sundogs.
yeah, but not just the sundog, the sacred geometry of the seed, the seed of life, the seed of life symbol. Yeah, like that. But as you see, there's like 3 circles there, like going through the middle, the top, and like another one going all the way up, continuing. That Eric Hecker, when he was in Antarctica, he saw them, each of those rings connect into and forming full other circles, and that it was like a full circle of the seed of life geometry. It was like in the sky. It's just like, and then there's these stories and the firmament or some sort of energetic barrier, or like, what the hell is that? Like, just interesting. It's interesting. That's been there and
Did anyone
documented.
see the Aurora Borealis tonight? Apparently, you can see it like in certain places in North America, like very, very easily.
Really? There was
I'm in
the
Vegas.
lunar eclipse yesterday as well. Full
Really?
lunar eclipse. Yeah. Oh, it was last night. Yeah, it was a full moon and then lunar eclipse as well. Yeah. Right towards sunrise in the North Americas, but it was a full lunar eclipse last night, and 1 week's time we have the full solar eclipse on the 8th, or 2 weeks time, right? Something like that. Just the more you connect into why the ancients put so much into understanding astrology and what was happening in the heavens and the powers above, and then you see the images like that, and it's interesting stuff. Sorry, please do continue with
I don't know. That's the end of my tangent there. I was just going off on your little tangent about Colorado or the Grand Canyon. Sorry.
All right. Well, I see the link that you were able to post. Now I just need my darn slow computer to get to the live chat so I can share that for everybody. Here is the link from Alchemist of what we were just looking at, and anyone and everyone should go check it out and read that 50 or 30 pages, was it, did you say?
Yeah, it's a 50-page book, but there's
50-page book? Absolutely. All right. Right, so back and forth we got, where's it? There we go. We got Dhodap, some Dhodap in the background. That's the wrong one. And we got some Grand Canyon, and we got some Dhodap. So again, noting some similarities. Mountain fortresses and temples, fully castles and fortresses in the rest in the East, it's still preserved, still used, and yet in America, we're told this is geology, and you're not allowed to drive or fly drones there or anything of the such.
You share this one too, Bernie. It's the Grand Canyon panorama.
Oh, awesome. Gotcha.
It disappears all the time.
My computer's just a little slow.
Yeah, it's massive probably too. Like if you're trying to open it.
Oh, I love it because I've been looking for a high def or high res image of that Grand Canyon map for a while to be able to read all the names, because it's like there's Temple of Jupiter, Apollo, like I think.
And this was actually published by
the U.S. state.
Like for tourism or whatever.
Right, exactly, like an official State Department agency. Like, it's crazy. And here we have Brahma Temple. I'm like, look at this. And what I believe to also be the case, and most likely, what the evidence I've been documenting and shows of when these were like mostly originally inhabited, and what would have been talked as the Gardens of Eden or Utopia or whatnot, that these systems were properly dammed and half flooded as reservoirs, massive freshwater lake reservoir cities, and that it wasn't all desert here. You actually halfway up would have been this inland freshwater sea, and that it would have there would have been abundance everywhere, and every single terrace that has been meticulously built into these places, all of the ancient places throughout Libya, throughout Vietnam, Laos, and China, still utilized to this day. What I've been documenting in southern Alberta and Montana, what exists in Iran, Libya, what Michael Tellinger has shown documented throughout all of South Africa, and what Brian Forrester and others have documented and shown throughout all of Peru, Bolivia, and the southern Central Americas. All the former civilization master builders built these just super functional agricultural city harmonious metropolises, I guess, but it's wild. And another thing that gets me, and here we're just letting the imagination go a little wild, but back to being a child, I read a lot and had my mom's read a lot of the Dinotopia book series. So it was like, stories of humans living amongst dinosaurs, amongst the harmoniously. There we go. Sorry, harmoniously. And it's like, well, we're told the pre-Younger Dryas event, the last epoch time, was the time of the megafauna, and all the skeletal records of giant beavers, giant megalodon from sharks, from giant mastodons of 10 times the size of elephants we have today. Everywhere in the world there was mammoths from the Arctic regions, fully built. So it's like, oh, well, why they were built? Here's the thing. So supposedly during the time of the last ice age, the last epoch, the Holocene or something, I think it's called, or maybe that's where we are now. Anyways, that it was a massive ice sheet that covered all of like half of North America, all of Canada and whatnot, a massive ice age. Yet you had mammoth fully flourishing. You had these massive giant Siberian rhinoceroses, furry rhinoceroses like flourishing, and massive or what Siberian saber-tooth tigers, armadillos, giant sloths, dinosaurs, aka dragons, you name it, and then the cryptids of today, all existing in the fossil records, yet many sightings still today. Point being,
a lot of the native Canadian stuff too, they all had gigantic animals.
Humans riding dinosaurs and mammoths and mastodons while these places were, inhabited and lived in and built. Would have been cool. Could have been a thing. Maybe it's simulation. Maybe it's going on. I don't know. Are we trying to share something else, or am I continuing on?
I'm trying to share something else, but looks like it might not exist anymore.
Oh, sorry. I thought I had shared your the second link. I finally went through into the live chat. We got Tonto West, but west of Tonto looks like some step pyramid fortress mountains that are definitely called temples with specific god and demigods names, right? Here we go. This one, Deva Temple. This is Deva or Diva Temple in Grand Canyon as well. And then we have, here we go. This, sadly, it is a pixelated, crappy picture, but back temporarily to Dhodap Fort, and just the scale of, again, these mountain fortresses. And yes, this is all built megalithic, documented, and well, why do you just magically claim that suddenly this is natural? Yeah, that looks like a carved figure right there for sure. I see them all over. Too pixelated. We got two giant paws. That's looking Isis Temple. First we had the backside Isis Temple. Now we have the front side. That's looking pretty Sphinx-ish, is it not? Like two massive paws? I don't know.
Yeah, kind of.
This one, not sure, but again, it's one of the temples. They're all called temples here. They're all different 90-degree angles everywhere, parallel terraces throughout, and pyramidal structures, and what look like more pyramidal structures with that looks like it could literally have come from the Maharashtra castles and forts of India, with a shrine built on top of this temple, with what looks like a lingam maybe on top of a pyramid, a step pyramid, but just absolutely mind-blowing what we could actually and probably are looking at. Hermit Trail looking on one of the temples. So, like, imagine this is an inland sea coming up halfway to these places, and that, just some electric pumps, and then you have water pouring down nonstop, cascading down for crops off of every terrace thereafter. That I believe. So here is a closer up of the artificial wall that has been constructed, the cover up to the main cavern entrance of Isis Temple. You'll always notice from afar it's like this weird pixelated white and like red like inner shadow, but that's because they couldn't fill out the outer edge of the entrance, and like you can still see the full formation and that there's still an entrance in here. It's just mostly blocked, but that's still a entrance in. And let me tell you, it is an entrance in still. And here we go. This, although pixelated, is before the plane crash magically created a wall and filled the entrance. And this, sadly, the shadow of the wrong time of day. But here again, you can see where they filled it in. Somewhere I have a more high res picture. But again, right in the center on the back side, another entrance and cave in, and there's carved staircases going in and through these areas. These are no access areas. The park rangers do not let you go anywhere near this. You literally cannot fly a drone there. Like, it will not. It's pre-programmed through GPS that it will not like even get off the ground or turn on. Like, by law, these are no fly zones, and you literally it's like a 1 or 2 year booking in advance to go on these limited hikes through this area, but like you don't actually get anywhere close to these areas, and you have to have assigned park rangers with you as you hike and camp backpack through. It's wild. They do not want anyone going through here, and that is after, officially in the 20s or 10s, or was it late 1890s? Do you know when the Kincaid expedition and when they pulled out all of the artifacts? The Smithsonian?
When?
Do you know the date or no? Do you remember?
No, I'll just look it up.
Appreciate that. Like look at these. These are all
I think it was 1906.
1906? Nice. That looks like a statue and a massive complex fort. Massive fort system. So here, right, you got like pyramid tops, but this, see, you have it broken in the ridge. You have it destroyed. Beforehand, this is part of the dam. On the inside, this was all filled with water. Again, over here, you have the dam broken, and that's how the water drains. But normally, that Colorado River was actually this inner lake waterway that it was built to be. Now they don't have it because they don't want us to be or see what is actually right in front of us.
Interesting you say that, because the superintendent of the Grand Canyon says the restriction of the Grand Canyon is necessary to protect many unrecorded features, archaeological resources, and various life that may reside in the thousands of Grand Canyon caves.
Oh, sorry, had this up. Not bad. Ooh, we got the Great Lakes. I always love that.
So I've showed this many times too, but this will probably be the last time because it looks like it's getting nuked. But these are all mastodon sites in Ontario, Canada. So one of the universities.
Those are all mastodon sites in just the southern part of Ontario, Canada, around the Great Lakes. Wow.
Yeah, and then here's the list of where they're all at. But this was from I think University of Waterloo did all this, and but it looks like the page has been taken down or just isn't happened to be working today. But they had a big write-up on it and everything too. It could just be my internet connection. I'm not saying anything nefarious is going on, but it's the first time I've gone to that website where you haven't been able to check it out. So,
all right.
Yeah.
It's these mysterious coincidences each time we're live. Links don't work, and software stops working, and bandwidth disappears, and videos cut out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they're all in very interesting places too. Like, yeah, they're all on sacred grounds, and a lot of them are on Indian reserves and such. But yeah, it's really interesting.
Really, hey? It often is. It almost always. Almost always.
Yeah, mastodons. They're all over the place.
Right? From Alaska to throughout Ontario. It's that, like, wow.
Yeah, someone in chat mentioned the Star Fort in Detroit, and I think that's the parking garage at the Detroit Plaza is now is part of that too. I've got old pictures of it, and like you can see under Park Plaza, I think it is, right where the fountain is an old fort in there too. It's pretty cool. But yeah, there's sweet forts everywhere. And I think the Windsor University is built on an old fort too, but it's
right.
It's pretty hard to figure that one all out. Yeah.
Pretty much everything is. Every fort, port, city, school, castle, university, they're all built on former inhabited megalithic foundations.
Yeah, I think there's like probably 2 or 3 forts like within walking distance of each other, right in like downtown Detroit. Like it's been a long time, but I'm pretty sure there's 3 there that used to be there. There's like one at the corner of Fort Street, which they say is completely gone, but I think it's all parking garages now. And then there's Fort Gratiot, and then there's Hart Plaza, whatever that used to be.
Sorry. Trying to get a screen to share. We can play. Where in the world are these mounds, aka buried pyramids, located? All right. Who's guessing? Right? I think you might be correct. Maybe Laos or Vietnam too, but you could just as well be correct with China. I'm not sure. Oh, actually, yeah, maybe China. I know the spot in China that you're talking about. I think you're 100% right. Actually, I think Alchemist got her. Damn, you long point.
Hey, Corky, I've also heard of a tunnel that ends up in a Mexican town there from a place in Windsor, that they used to do rum running in. Have you heard of any of that stuff too? There's
Yeah,
one
but
specifically, and I think I've actually seen it with my own eyes, but I don't want to say too much. But I think there's an extra tunnel that goes under the Detroit River, other than the tunnel itself, if not a few of them that they used to use in the rum running days, which is pretty cool.
But the rum runners didn't build them; they just utilized them. Just like the indigenous natives that they took those places from prior, used them and utilized them and lived in them before the latest, takeover, hijack, reset had happened. So where in the world are we now?
Mexico.
Incorrect. The word Windsor is closer, but not Canada. The Imperial Master somewhere. To give you a hint. But again, I don't remember the actual name. So who knows it in the chat? It could be in Scotland. It could be.
Is that Saint Michael's Mount?
Could be.
Or Mount St. Michael?
It's in the UK. It's a confirmed ancient mound / terraced pyramid structure, I believe, with local legends claiming giants buried or built it or something within it. One or the other. Quite a famous spot. All right, what about this one?
AI.
Nope.
I'm just kidding. I have no idea.
Right?
China.
Exactly, that is China. We have China. Sorry, China. I didn't mean no disrespect, but stop disrespecting your freaking pyramids and planting trees over them. But I guess they don't want them desecrated. All right, what about this one? What do we got here? Where is this documented pyramid? Verified mountain pyramid terrace through geoglyphology and the Ferrum Foundation. As a hint, where in the world is this one? We got Mexico. No, incorrect. You got a crack at her, Elk Man? Asian island.
Brazil?
No, Asian island.
I don't know. Oh, Taiwan?
Closer. But in the vicinity and same pyramid system complex range as another famous one. Is it Guangdong or is that something else that Graham Hancock's been working on? But it is in Indonesia. There's a couple of them together there. You can see the clear terraces. All right, this one. Where do we got this one? And is this what actually lies beneath lots of those mountains throughout Asia? Oops, kind of gave that hint away a little bit, but I forget the name. Is that in Cambodia, I think?
Oh, yeah, there's a few in Cambodia.
Maybe Brunei, but I think it's Cambodia. Uh-huh. Oh, this one.
I think that's probably like Alaska. That's probably like I don't know where that one would be. China again.
Close. This is another one this is an adjacent one in Indonesia, and you can still see all of the terraces, the ancient terraces, many of them still being farmed and utilized to today. How about this one? I believe.
Peru's Mexico.
I believe
Peru?
this one is Pyramid of the Sun, Bosnian, but I could be wrong. Could be wrong. It could well be Mexican. All right. Who actually knows
is Costa Rica?
Where this was taken? Radar. All right. I think we all know those. What about this? We got like 3 false stores on the top here, and what's going on? Very suspect. Is this the home of the trolls and the giants and the underground? This one, Antarctica. How about that? How about that one?
Oh, this one's is that the States?
Incorrect. This is Peru, my friend. Peru. We are in Peru. How do you do? One day I want to be in you and walk those terraces of Peru. Sweet Peru. Baby blue. I need to get us to Peru. Y'all want to donate and help us do a tour of Peru one day? Hopefully. All right, how about these bad boys? Clearly, that was Egypt, and this is Mexico, but look at that. A freaking
beam.
Pretty much beam, plasma beam, vortex beam, right off the top. The Pyramid of the Sun of Mexico City. Kind of looks like a fortress terraced mountain. All right, what we got here? What we'll have right here. Where's totalitarian truth? That was these ones. We got China again. We got more Chinese. We got some more Chinese. They got a lot of pyramids in China. Korea also has pyramids. That is what they kind of found them as, right? And I guess fact. Oh, this bad boy right here. Where's this pyramid? Y'all know?
Yeah.
Yeah, Alchemist knows this one?
Yeah, man. I got old pictures of it.
I know you do. I love this one too.
Unless it's something else. I think it's Pyramid Lake, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Pyramid Lake in Utah or Nevada. Nevada Pyramid Lake. Nevada Pyramid Lake.
They say that was whatever. They say they think it was an actual pyramid. The first people.
It is an actual pyramid, and it's like it's got more steps. Like there's pictures of it where the water table has dropped several more, and like this is actually a step pyramid that goes down way more, and there's actually several more steps of that step pyramid going out. It's wild. It's actually a step pyramid. Ooh. Here we got the. Where in the world is this bastion star fort? Carved into bedrock on top of layers of terraces. Could literally be anywhere. I'm not sure where that one comes from. What we got right here?
Peru.
You know it, baby. That's our lady. Baby Peru. We want to be in you. And
what do I get if I win this game?
Sorry?
What's the prize for winning this game?
I don't know yet, but eventually there will be prizes. But today all we're getting is virtual digital high fives, my man. Because we're all winners when we're playing. Where in the land is this pyramid from? All right. Shall we continue on? Boom. Where is that pyramid from? And looky, Is that what their original glory was when they functioned and were built and actually operating? And not in ruins. Simply speculating, but where in the world do we have this amazingness from?
Angkor Wat.
Could be. Same
Wat.
region. I believe this is most likely Myanmar, Burma. Could be wrong on that. What about this one? Still used to this day. Ancient, massive terraforming. We literally see it everywhere, but these still being farmed today. We have China, and we got your Chinese green tea coming from there. This guy right here being like, yo, these things used to sing when the sun hit them in the morning. Oh, I love this. Speaking of melted mountain city apartments complexes, we got some Cappadocia, Turkey right there, I do believe. Antarctica, Mexico City of the Gods, perfect layout of the solar system and the bodies. Here's Pyramid Lake Pyramid again, a little bit more close up. This is a 3D rendering of the LiDAR mapping of what lies beneath the soil and the vegetation of the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun. Looks quite like a Mayan step pyramid. Whoopsie doodles. Oh dear. I hit the wrong button. Do you have anything else to shed? By chance, do you want to quickly go over some of the mounds and pyramids and terraformed foundations you've found in around Ontario before?
I'll do it. I just got to pull up Google Earth and take 5 to get some more water, and I'll be right back, though.
Perfect. Sounds good, brother. We will see then. And until, here we go. Here's a picture of the pyramid in Pyramid Lake, Nevada. It's a step pyramid, and then you got another little pyramid top right here. Who knows? Could be buried more below, but definitely a pyramid complex. And this in India, ancient India. Old photos. Come in. Here we go. Back to Temple of Isis in the Grand Canyon. Right. That's of course. Come on, stupid tab. Go to the right thing. But okay, finally reloading. All right. Sorry, everyone. Technical difficulties. We're back on track. In the chat, who's got this one? Where are we looking at? If you guessed Petra Jordan, you are correct. once again terraformed into the mountainsides miraculously somehow. They claim. I forget, but I suspect this is Egypt, but it could be Mexico. Either one. It's definitely a well-known pyramid before it was excavated. Sadly, the resolution is horrible. Pixelation is horrible on this picture, but I'm pretty sure this is France, but I could be wrong. Oh, back to Isis Temple. Here we go. Look at that. That's quite some plasma and tic-a-tec. This actually is, I just found out, I've been wondering and using this picture as example of mountain pyramid, step pyramid for a while. I actually found out today, confirmed, this is actually part of Dhodap Fort, to circle it all back from the start of the stream. Pyramid master builder civilization, maybe alien, maybe demigods, most likely what the legends state. Here we have somewhere in the Central or Southern American jungles. Simple geometry of what you actually see in pyramid complex or the temple complexes of the Grand Canyon. Here we go. Here's Isis Temple, and here's the cave entrance again before being walled off, before the plane crash magically. Oh, and look at that, another China pyramid. We got another China pyramid. Headley man, give a like, brother, and if you can strike me a package of green goodies or some, if you have any, or also need to talk to you, find out if you ever got any results testing the monoatomics on the chronics. Would like to know, but I am hurting anyone out there. Actually, if you can send this man some marijuana, I am hurting and smoking shake. But I actually just got, that's half true. I also just got my had buy, but I got to half gram of dabs that has tied me over quite nicely, but that's running out soon. But I am happily baked. Disclaimer right now. Happy Canadian. Anyways, can always use a little weed. 12 largest Egyptian pyramids. Again, many looking very similar to what we find in the Grand Canyon, and as well as what we just saw in India there. Good Elk Man, you are back with us. Kinda, sorta, almost joining soon.
Google Earth.
All right. Good old Lugal. I love Lugal. Time machine. Trying to find a specific picture to share here. There's that one. In the meantime,
I should do Google Earth or just pull up a book that talks about everything.
Yeah, if you They're able, absolutely. All right, continue on.
Maybe both.
In North America. This, I believe, is somewhere Pacific Island Pyramid Mountain. Oh, I need to go back to this site. Oh, is that? Did it not change? Son of a gun. Darn it. Thought the pictures were changing. You're seeing what I was seeing, but that was not the case at all. All right, some other pyramids that used to exist in Egypt. Chichen Itza after being dug out. Like, oh man, once you hear the sound and experience like the chirp and the I think it's like a Caesar that comes back at you from making the clap and the wave that hits and resonates off of the pyramid and comes back at you. Experiencing it firsthand, it sticks with you forever. It's just absolutely ridiculously, insanely amazing architectural engineering for its acoustic properties and abilities. Google Earth got you working yet or negative?
Yeah, I was just trying to pull something up. I'm not going to waste any more time with it. I'll just go with Google Earth.
Yeah, because I'd love to see what you got with her, and then when you're also done with it, to if you could look up the medicine share. Sorry?
Last time it wouldn't.
Oh, yeah, there we go. Now we're sharing the boom. There we go, baby. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Elkman.
So a lot of these points I have on here are just like they're not necessarily anything real, just stuff I've noticed, maybe sometimes not.
Points of interest.
Yeah, there's a few like around here in Detroit, but what else we got? So I know there's legit ones here. So here's the Southwold Earthworks. It's a National Historic Site. I've got a video of it on my YouTube. Basically, back in here, there's like a circle mound. And then there's like another small one at the center. It's
nice.
Very interesting. It's also interesting because it's near Fignal right here. So all across Ontario, you'll find these triangles like all over the place.
Oh, yeah.
They all are decommissioned, I think, decommissioned Air Force bases, but they all also happen to be within, all of them are very close to like earthworks or Indian reservations or are on the reses, and they still, like, you can probably just scroll this way and see them all. Like, they're so obvious. Like, there's one here. That's how I found them too. And then I found another map that they were all marked off on, like, after I did all this, and I had missed a few, but there's like another one here.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And look at
you
the
can keep going all across Ontario in every direction, and there should be some like within like basically 100 kilometers of each other. and you can keep following them all the way to very interesting places.
So very similar pattern, potentially even the same extended pattern that Dutch Sense has shown throughout the US and stuff. Could
yeah,
be.
but why does it all come to a point here? It's kind of interesting. Like somewhere up here. Anyways, I've spent way too much time looking at Google Maps in my life, so I'll just keep going.
Thank you for sharing it, man. It's making it all worthwhile. Sharing is caring.
So a lot of people, like I can't say a lot of people, but in the chat I noticed people talking about like, oh, it would be interesting. Like we never hear about any of this stuff in Canada. And we don't. Like, yeah, there's another triangle here and here. But the reason is because different people don't want to acknowledge it because for different
Confirmation
reasons.
bias and cognitive dissonance, and just belief. Everybody's entitled to their own belief, and it's like, well, the evidence pointing to what reality actually could be might not necessarily be comfortable, but we have to look at it and take it with what it is, and it's all within God's divine creation, whether it's Matrix or giants or aliens or all of the above. We're here now.
Yeah. There's a lot going on in Hamilton, Niagara Falls, and all that, like in the escarpment and over here too. But basically, if you just follow the rivers, you can see from it's very obvious where everything is. I've taken the time to go over the aerial surveys of all this, everything of Ontario. I've actually pretty much done all of Ontario, of these super high res aerial photos from like I think it's like the 40s or 50s, and all the forts are visible, all the mounds are visible, a lot of stuff is visible. And I have noticed too that in if you search Canadiana.ca, there's a lot of documents up there that like I think I could be misspeaking here, but I think the only mound that's recognized in Ontario is at it's a serpent mound. I'll just Google it. It's slipping my mind right now. Rice Lake. It's at Rice Lake. Sorry. But so they only recognize a few. Well, this one and maybe one other mound in Ontario is existing. I found a ton in Hamilton, Ontario, and the surrounding area, but they're not recognized because they say those people wouldn't have existed here then, or something to that effect. But
Even though they're now finding and acknowledging these megalithic built like Stonehenges at the bottoms, the bases of the Great Lakes, and then coincidentally, all the old maps, the Tartarian era maps that we see with the pre-cataclysm, there's nothing in the Great Lakes, right? They claim that's only 500 years ago, but then those maps are from 500 years ago, they claim, yet who knows? Anyways, it's just wild.
yeah, I got into all this because I was interested because you look at maps of like Michigan and like Ohio, and there's like thousands of mounds everywhere, and then it just happens to stop at the border. Like that didn't even exist then. So
shout out
like
Shem Jacobs, the Prince of the Mounds of Ohio. His new Instagram name.
There's some interesting stuff here too. But yeah, sorry, I wasn't really prepared to have anything today, but maybe I got a couple more on
All
here.
good, brother. It's actually we're exactly 2 hours in, and it's 9:36 p.m. I do got to wrap her up soon, and I got a couple 3 Bernie bonuses to share at the end. But yeah, if you got a couple more things to lined up there
Nah,
to
I'm good. I'd rather save what yeah, I'm not really prepared, so I'd
save for
rather
another
save
day.
it.
Fair enough. So, Bernie bonus number 1. This is also at Pyramid Lake, Nevada, and it appears to be a could be geopolymer, could be empty or just hollow ball, but behind it, what's called the Sphinx of the lake of Nevada, and from different angles, it actually does look like an eroded or melted down Sphinx. Let's see, what else do we have in store? Look at that. That's Teotihuacan, Mexico City. That's a very terraced mountain in America. That's in Egypt. That's Peru. That's Sudan. That's Bolivia. It's all over. Just like this show is about to be. But before we let you go, we're getting to number 2, Bernie bonus that Elkman was responsible for in an episode with me, him, and Shim that we found the Devon Island Bay map that you showed, and we found the Devon Island pyramids and the pictures of them. Devon Island, famous for NASA's supposed Mars rovers, and another pyramid on Devon Island right there.
Pyramid, Cape Pyramid.
Cape Pyramid, right? Cape Pyramid on Devon Island. This, I believe, is in the Bahamas. Not sure on that one. Chocolate Hills, like it's everywhere. They're everywhere. Everywhere you go, it's all around. Now, for the final Bernie bonus to finish it all off, to tie it all together, if what I showed in earlier, the Grand Canyon temples, didn't convince, well, there's another tunnel from the Colorado in, but here's what will get you. All right, each of those temples, this is a topographical map of those same temples from above looking down, Colorado River in there, and overlaid is the stars above the entire Orion star system and stars of the Orion constellation, perfectly aligning and matching each of those temple peaks perfectly topographically. Like, as above, so below. How does that happen naturally? There's what Elkman shared and found earlier of that map. And then here we go again. This is another second topographical map, also showing, oops, is it loading? There we go, of the stars on the topographical map of the temples of the Grand Canyon. And once again, every single one perfectly matches up with the Orion stars above.
I think I'm sharing that map of Cape Pyramid, or it disappears too.
Okay, here we go. And boom, there's the Elkman finishing bonus of it all. We got it. Cape Pyramid. Amazing.
Yeah, it's just brutal.
What way finish it off. Thank you, sir, and thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and everybody in between for joining today. We'll be back again soon. Until then, stay blessed. Ta-ta.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks for having me again, Burn.
Thanks for joining, brother. Thanks for sharing. Much love.
You crazy mother. Yeah.
It's just BurnEye.